Hey, everybody out there, welcome back to 91.8 The Fan. It is I, your favorite holiday themed host, the DJ Christmas, and I have with me a very special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself to everybody out there?
Welcome to the League of Draven.
A lot of great stuff. For those who don't know, Draven is, of course, uh, I want to say, is the third most recent champion in the league.
He is relatively new, yes.
And I remember when he first came out, it was almost impossible to get him. But now that everybody's fawning over the newest one, Zira, who's essentially Poison Ivy, Draven's very easy to get a hold of in queue. So it's a lot of fun playing as Draven.
He is a blast. When I recorded him, they hinted at that he was a little bit of a pro wrestler kind of type. And I jumped right. I said, "This is exactly what I saw him as," and I'm so happy that you said that. So I had a lot of fun recording that. That was a lot of fun.
He's definitely fun. I noticed that with a lot of the more recent champions, they've added more to them, more special stuff, more than just one joke or taunt, and it's fun to see the kind of things that they do to mix it up. One of my favorite things about Draven is that whenever he's teleporting, he always sheathes his axes and points to where he's going. So he's not afraid to just stand out there in the middle, letting you know what he's up to.
When I did Jax, they didn't have really animations to look at. When I did Draven, they did, but when I did Jax, it was just the lines, and they told you sort of generally what they wanted from you, and then you delivered what you'd. I mean, you'd already auditioned for it, so they kind of knew that you had the character in your pocket. But yeah, Jax was a lot of fun too. But I think Draven more so, just because I finally got to see actual him moving and doing things and moves that he was going to do. That was fun.
And I think it's interesting that you do both Draven and Jax because I think out of the 101 champions, to me, they seem like they would be the most similar to each other. They both have that sort of cocky, full of themselves attitude. Nothing's going to take them down. And even if it does, Draven still laughs as he dies.
Yes, I do.
But we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves here. We've already jumped right into League of Legends. How exactly did you get started in the voice acting business, if I may ask?
Um, well, I guess the short and simple way to put it is I worked in video games. I was doing testing and eventually got into producing and designing, but I was doing testing, and testing is a crazy job. You spend a lot of time staring at the same thing because very often they'll say things like, "Oh, run into the wall along this track," or "See if you can do this or that and get out of the level," and things like that. So you're doing really bizarre, mind-numbing stuff. So I killed the time by and long hours, I should add. And I killed a lot of the time by doing character voices and being silly, and people heard that. And eventually, a producer that I knew, I saw him one time at E3 or something, and he said, "You still want to do voices, don't you?" And I said, "Yeah, as a matter of fact." So I went and did a gig for him, and I had done a couple of small gigs, and then met this guy Terry McGovern with the Marin Actors Workshop. And Terry got me in and got me going a demo, and of course, learning acting, because he said, if you're going to be a voice actor, you should probably learn how to act. And I got a demo together, and I started submitting to agents. And one of the agents, called me back and said, "We would like to talk to you," and that was it.
Well, very cool. I don't really hear about too many voice actors, starting out as testers. Usually it's like, oh, well, I was in theater or, as a kid I made funny voices while watching TV, but it's definitely interesting to see that aspect doing testing. Do you know what sort of games you tested back in the day?
um geez, should I even wow. So Sims PS2 was something I worked on. I also worked on Tiger Woods 2003.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it went further back. I did stuff before that, and I did stuff well after that, including a lot of mobile work. But yeah, I mean, not to say that the voices didn't come from me when I was younger. I mean, I used to have Hot Wheels, and every car had to have a different sound because the driver sounded different. But it wasn't until I was really testing that I finally, had for sure had an opportunity to expand upon, voiceover.
That's actually pretty neat, just you've been a part of video games for, longer than most, so you know really more of the ins and outs than some other people who are just like video games. Like I know that they're there, but they have acting in them. They do
Yeah.
acting for that.
Well, you have to remember this when you're standing in a studio and the guy says, "Well, you're winding up for an attack or you're hurt or any of those things." You have to be able to portray that so that the player hears this and feels this and knows like, "Yeah, I'm winding up, here I go." And then you throw the whatever it is, the spell, the weapon, whatever it is. So understanding and being in video games helped me because I knew exactly what they were looking for. Um, and with people like Draven and stuff, he's very pro wrestler, but you know that he's going to be declaring this to the world, and sometimes he's declaring things to the guy right over there. There was even a joke line. I don't know if they'll ever use it, but there was a line about what is it? Darius is his brother,
Right.
and there was oh, I'm Darius.
Uh, it's funny because I've heard some of Darius's joke lines where they make an allusion to he's basically the Noxian version of Garen, but I really like that sort of interaction between the characters when they go up against each other if they're near each other, like the Graves Nocturne interaction, stuff like that. It's nice to see that they do pay attention to stuff like that, and it's not just recycled voice clips over and over.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, I like something that really does feel interactive.
And how exactly did you get started working over at Riot?
Well, I don't work at Riot, but
Well, with Riot.
their audition went out and I auditioned. That was 3 or 4 years ago before the game released. I auditioned for Jax, and actually I auditioned for a whole bunch of them. Um, and they picked me for Jax, and they picked the local guy here in San Francisco picked me for a couple others. One or two of them I even recorded, but they chose somebody else ultimately for what was it, Twisted Fate, and which is Owen Thomas,
Hmm.
great guy, does a lot of great work. So I wasn't too heartbroken, but I like Jax anyway, so I was thrilled to get him.
Yeah, it's always interesting. League of Legends is something that before it went free, it was one of those things that I'd always heard whispers about. It's like, oh, it's really fun, but you're going to spend tens of thousands of dollars just trying to play your subscription and everything. And now that it's a free to play, not even a pay to win, but pay to get different costumes, and I still fall into that pitfall. I have a few skins myself. It's something that's definitely branched out and become more popular, and I think I remember reading that it's even got more subscribers than World of Warcraft now.
Yeah, I do believe it has actually moved up over. Yeah, I like the skins, by the way. You know, uh, may he rest in peace, Joe Kelly, who was one of the players who he did a Make a Wish, and he got to meet the guys at Riot and things like that. And I got a couple people asking me about maybe doing something for him. So in that skin, there's a "Here's to you, kid." Um, as Jax because that was his favorite character and that's who or his champion and that's who he played. So, um, yeah, I love the community. I just absolutely love this community.
Definitely, and as much as I love getting complimented for playing Soul Reaver Draven, it's like, oh, it's the coolest skin in the game. I love it. It looks awesome. I I don't like the voice filter because it takes away from Draven's natural charm, I feel.
Yeah, well, that's what Riot chose to do with it. It is interesting. Some of the characters are much more affected, and you're like, wow, they sound really different, even though I know that's me. Um, but yeah, they just filter the voice, and it's just that one for me. And then I think Jax has maybe one more that has something to it, but I haven't heard it. I've only heard the Draven, yeah, the one you just spoke of, and I know that there's an added line for the Jaximus skin for Joe Kelly.
Very nice. And I think with that, we're going to take a short commercial break, but don't go anywhere because when we get back, we'll still have more Draven.
Yeah.
So keep it tuned to 91.8 The Fan. Everything you want, nothing you don't. Hey everybody, welcome back to 91.8 The Fan. I am still here and I still have my very special guest. Would you like to give the folks a sign of life to prove that you are in fact here?
Imagine if I had a real weapon.
If only. What would Jax do with a real weapon?
Probably clobber somebody upside the head.
And since I haven't played Jax, I've just really seen my brother. He just has a staff, really, doesn't he?
Giant lamppost.
That's what it is? It's a lamppost?
Yeah, it's a big lamp, and he clobbers people with it.
Ah, that's great. Like like you get some of the new guys like Zera who, uses poison ivy type attacks, or Jace with this giant hammer that turns into a cannon, or, flashy Draven and Darius with their big axes. I'm
Yeah,
Jax, get a lamppost.
yeah, yeah. He's the Grand Master at Arms. Well, he's old school, so he's been in the game since the very beginning. So
Yeah, I've been meaning to try to go back and see how the champions are dated, like which ones were originally in, which ones came out when. I really only know the last five or so in terms of being recent, but
right, yeah,
it's definitely interesting to go back and see the guys that were a part of it from the very beginning.
absolutely. There was at least 20 of them. I know that. I don't remember what it started with, but it was 20 to 30 champions. I think it started with, but yeah, they've been expanding obviously now at 101.
Yeah, and Zero just came out. I was looking at the page on Facebook, and it's like, all right, it's Tuesday, the update's out, and they've already got the next one announced. So we'll be seeing the newest one in another week or two.
Yep.
But other than League of Legends, is there anything else that you've been working on recently that you want to promote to the fans out there?
You know, there's some stuff coming from Telltale right after they finish up Walking Dead. I know that I can say the name of it, Fables is
Ooh.
out, but that's months and months away. And I've done a few things on the side. I post a lot of what I do on YouTube. I try to put things together. Me and actually one of the other voice actors, um, Adam Harrington, we both put up a lot of stuff on our YouTubes when we can. Mine is youtube.com/Mota Jones, Motajones. And I also have a podcast I've been working on that's on a YouTube channel at the moment called Mr. E Reezy, which is Mreeezy. And my normal website is erockvo, erockvo.com. But yeah, there's some stuff. And unfortunately, some of the newest stuff I can't even talk about. But I might be making an appearance in Walking Dead. I'm hoping that might happen. And there's a few other click art game, or sort of the seek and find games that we did a little while back, and I think it was called Dark Parables was one of the last ones. But yeah, there's a few things coming and some stuff that we're trying to mess with outside of games. So
I know the Walking Dead game is a big thing that a lot of fans are looking forward to. It seems like the biggest thing lately isn't really movies, even though we've had a lot of big movies, but the TV shows that people put a lot of time and effort into, like Game of Thrones and Walking Dead, and now those are getting video game adaptations, just like movies used to get a whole lot. And it's interesting to see, sort of how the paradigm has shifted a little bit.
oh yeah, absolutely. And to be honest with you, with the new Walking Dead game, it makes me feel like I know what the future games are going to be like as far as comic fans, because I was a fan of comics as well, and I get to play one of my favorite characters, maybe of all time, but of definitely of the series in Fables. So I'm really excited about that, and the Walking Dead game doing so well and looking so cool and playing so cool gives me hope that the Fables game is going to be pretty amazing too.
Definitely. I know one of the people I was talking to mentioned that they would be in the Walking Dead game. I can't remember who off the top of my head, but it definitely seems like something to look forward to. I haven't had the chance to really get into all the TV shows because I don't watch as much TV, because I feel like other than those really core five or so shows, it's sort of been on decline as well, and there isn't really as much entertainment value as I would like. So I've just sort of shifted everything to online, and I watch a lot of stuff there. But I do hopefully want to get started watching stuff like Game of Thrones and Walking Dead because I've heard a lot of great things about them from the people who are fans of.
Walking Dead is all about the comic more than it is the TV show. The comic was amazing, and they just did the 100th issue, and man, it's wow, I was not ready for that. I'm not going to give away a spoiler, but something pretty major happened in 100, and I was like, wow. But so that had me excited for the game just because the TV show veers off a little bit from the story. I think they're trying to pull it back now, but originally the first season or so, it was like, wait a minute, what are they doing with this? But now it seems to be a little more back on track. So the game is another time. It's the same timeline, but it's another character, another story off to the side. So it's kind of interesting. It's original content, which I really liked.
Yeah, I did remember hearing that the first season of Walking Dead was a little slow. That's really one of the two major things I've heard about it. That and I think his name is Carl, the character, and he's never inside the house when he should be, and it results in bad things happening.
Well, Carl's his son, Rick's son, but yeah, Carl does get into some issues.
It's like, Carl, get in the house. Why isn't he in the house? It's all your fault, Carl.
Yeah, well, he wants to be out there with his dad fighting off the walkers.
I'll have to get into it. One of these days, I just need to sit down and power through. I feel like that's really the best way, and I hear a lot of people do that. They watch it almost like a feature-length movie because that's the age of technology we live in. We have the ability to sit down and do something like that.
Yes, just stream right through.
Yeah. But other than that, we talked a little bit behind the scenes. You've been in a few other games. It's been a while now, but I do remember they made a big deal when it came out, the Sands of Destruction game for Nintendo DS, and I've been meaning to pick it up. I hear that it's a lot of fun.
One of the cool things for me being a voice actor was they had a quip system. So you actually would say things depending on the move that you're doing, would have a different comment that he would say. And I played Toppy Toplin. He's a little bear with an eye patch, and he's a whiskey swilling bounty hunter. But he's pretty awesome. And they said they wanted a huge voice for the smaller stature guy. And he's very similar to Draven. He was one of the earliest characters that I ever sort of went that direction on the voice. And he was he was pretty much just like oh yeah, well listen up, pal. So he's very similar, but just slightly different.
Very cool, and hopefully one of these days I'll get the chance to track the game down and give it a play. I did watch the anime series. I know some of our fans are a fan of the anime, but the game I haven't heard too much about since its big release when Funimation did that really sort of push for the dual release that they did with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's certainly interesting. And like you said, you've got a bunch of other stuff that we don't want you to get in trouble for even whispering about. So we'll definitely have to keep an eye out to your website and your YouTube and all the other places where the fans can stalk you.
Yes, stock away.
Stalk away. And for the fans who are a little more daring, they want to come stalk you in person, do you attend any sort of conventions or events?
Actually, there is potentially going to be an event actually out here in San Francisco for the IGN Pro Gamer League. I'm not sure that it's done yet, but from what I understand, they were saying that yes, they do want us to come out and make an appearance. And that I think that's August 11th and 12th here in San Francisco.
Ooh, very cool. I've been seeing stuff about that. They're getting the finalists all set for that on the startup page of League, and it'll definitely be something that I'll want to pay attention to. Hopefully, not be quite so bad at the game as I am right now.
Well, don't worry. I mean, you don't have to apologize to me because I haven't even gotten to play the game really because I was telling you off air my video card died on my PC, so all I have is a Mac that's what I work on, voiceover on. So it doesn't play because they don't make a League of Legends for Mac.
Yeah, I always found that weird, the sort of Mac PC discrepancy, especially with really popular games.
Me too, because I have Diablo 3 and it plays just fine.
Yeah, then Minecraft, everybody's into Minecraft. That was actually one of the first real Mac games, and it's just interesting maybe hopefully in the future there'll be some sort of support, but until then, I know video cards, they don't exactly run cheap.
Yeah. No, I'll get one. I just it's just a matter of priorities. You just got to take the time to go over and get one, I guess.
Yeah, that's really the big thing. It's like my priority is like I'd like to sit down and get a new tower computer so I don't have to do everything on this single core laptop that I've had for the past 3 years. I'd definitely like to see an upgrade with no less than 3 more cores than I have right now, and a nice video card and a nice screen and everything like that. But it's all a matter of getting the materials I need to put that sort of thing together.
Right. Absolutely.
And now, since I can't talk, let's have you talk some more. We're nearing the end of our time together, sad as it may be. But before we let you go, I was wondering if you would like to participate in a 91.8 The Fan tradition.
Okay, what is that?
We just ask everybody that comes on if they would do a radio bump for us.
Oh, sure, no problem.
We just ask everybody to say, "Hello, my name is," you insert your name.
Uh-huh.
I do this. You can say that you're a voice actor. You can insert character voices, whatever you want to put there. It's completely up to you. And you're tuned into 91.8 The Fan.
All right. Let me see if I can do that for you.
All right. And the only trick is that we do the takes live on air for any bloopers.
Ooh, awesome. That should be fun.
So when you're all set, we can go for a take one.
Hello, this is Erik Braa, the voice of Jackson Draven in League of Legends, and you're listening to 91.8 The Fan.
Very nice. You got it all in one go. You almost slipped up there, but you reeled it in.
You do it again just for fun?
Just one more take, just for fun.
Hi, everybody. I'm Erik Braa. I'm the voice of Jackson Draven in League of Legends, and you are tuned in to 91.8 The Fan.
There we go. Pulled it off like a champ.
All right.
It's almost like you're a professional voice actor or something.
Seriously, yeah. I should really think of doing that.
I hear that it's becoming a lot more popular. A lot of people are trying to get into it. I think you could definitely go places in that industry.
The ladies think it's pretty sexy, too.
It's true. But thanks for coming out. It was a lot of fun having you on here. Do you have any final words for the listeners out there?
Keep gaming, summoners rule, and thank you to the people that are out there for the support, man. I really appreciate it.
No problem. It was a lot of fun having you on, and we are here to support you guys. So if you have anything new, just let us know. We'd be happy to have you on again.
Right on. Thanks, man.
And for any of the listeners out there, if you missed any part of this interview, shame on you. It was a lot of fun. But don't fret, it'll be up on the website in the next couple days, so keep it tuned to 91.8 The Fan. Everything you want and nothing you don't.